Greetings, welcome, and thank you for clicking. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing Company, encouraging your journey with Reiki, card reading, and coaching for life's changes, challenges, and transitions. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Ask the Stones, offering spiritual guidance and encouragement for life's challenging questions. Greetings, welcome, and thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ask the Stones. Our question comes from Sylvia. Can you tell me about karmic cleansing between two people, or harmonizing relationships with Reiki? I had a friend, but he thought that I would have different feelings for him and not just friendship. Things suddenly stopped with no communication from him. He was being negative, avoiding me, and creating conflicts in our relationship. I heard he was gossiping about me too. How can we be forgiven and heal the relationship? Well, Sylvia, thank you so much for this question. I appreciate you reaching out, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about this. I have a lot to say on your question, and so I thank you for the opportunity, Sylvia, to share some encouragement with you on this. Sylvia, the first thing that I want to say about this is that I want to say, Sylvia, that I believe this is going to sound a little strange, so bear with me, Sylvia, but in some sense, I believe your friend has done you a favor. And I say that, Sylvia, because I don't know, Sylvia, that you want a friend who suddenly stops communicating with you. And I doubt, Sylvia, that you want a friend who is negative or avoids you. And I doubt, Sylvia, that you want a friend who creates conflicts and gossips about you. Now, I don't know this for a fact, Sylvia, but I'd be willing to bet that indeed this is not the kind of friendship that you would want. Very few of us want friends who do things like create conflict or are negative or avoid us, stop communicating with us suddenly. And so these are the kinds of behaviors that, to me, Sylvia, suggests that maybe your friend is not the best kind of friend for you at this time. And so, Sylvia, I think that in that way, really, your friend has done a favor by showing you that maybe this is not the best kind of friendship for you at this time, that this kind of relationship is not a healthy kind of friendship, and that you are most likely, Sylvia, better served by not having this friendship at this time, or at the very least distancing yourself from this friend. And so, Sylvia, I want to say that I believe your friend has done you a favor by showing you behavior that really says this is not the right fit for you at this time. So then, Sylvia, where do you go from here on all of this? So, Sylvia, I really want to encourage you as well to really, you ask how you can be forgiven, how we can be forgiven. And Sylvia, I really want to encourage you to start with the forgiving of yourself, because you do not say this in your question, but it seems to me as though you feel that you need to be forgiven with your question, how can we be forgiven? And so, Sylvia, I really want to encourage you to work right now on forgiving yourself My guess is that you are having a lot of questions about what you may have done wrong, quote unquote wrong, Sylvia, what you could have done differently, how you may have quote unquote messed up in this relationship. And so I really want to encourage you, Sylvia, to take time right now to focus on forgiving yourself. And rather than looking to some external person to forgive you, to first and foremost forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for whatever role you might have played in the relationship, however you may or may not have contributed to the breakdown of this relationship, for maybe not having feelings for your friend. I want to encourage you, Sylvia, to please forgive yourself. So please extend forgiveness to yourself right now. And rather than looking for some way of being forgiven, whether karmically or through the use of Reiki or from some external means, please focus on forgiving yourself right now. Sylvia, you've done nothing wrong. Friendships, relationships break down. They change, they grow, and in some ways that growing is apart. And that's no fault of yours, and even no fault of your friends. Now, it's not nice that your friend is suddenly not communicating with you and being negative and avoiding you and creating conflicts and gossiping. Those are not nice things. And I'm also sure that your friend has his own reasons behind that. I'm not saying that they are justified. I'm not saying that they are correct or kind, Sylvia. I'm saying that in his own way of viewing this experience, he has his own reasons for doing what he is doing, healthy or not, whether those are positive reasons or not, healthy reasons or not. He does have his reasons. But Sylvia, whatever the reasons may be, I encourage you to release any responsibility for that and to first and foremost forgive yourself. I secondly want to encourage you to work to forgive him too. You know, really your question to me is all about forgiveness. How can we be forgiven? And so forgiveness, we often look to an outside source to forgive us. We often look to external forces, whether they be other people or God, the universe, whatever it might be. We seek forgiveness without really realizing that forgiveness is an inside job, and forgiveness is how we first and foremost forgive ourselves. And so bring that self-forgiveness to this situation first, Sylvia, and extend that forgiveness out to your friend. Remember, at the very least, he's done you a favor by letting you know that he's really not the right kind of friend for you at this time. And so that self-forgiveness and that forgiveness of your friend, Sylvia, is where I encourage you to focus your effort and your energy right now. Now, as far as bringing karmic cleansing into this, Reiki, can we do that? Absolutely, we sure can. I'll talk about this idea of karmic cleansing in a moment, but first I want to focus in on Reiki. And yes, we can use Reiki to help harmonize relationships. Now, so often when we use Reiki in this kind of way, we're coming to it from a place of expectation, from a place of desire. And when we say using Reiki to harmonize relationships, what we're often really saying is that we want to use Reiki to fix this. We want to use Reiki to create some vision of the relationship that we have. And for you, Sylvia, I don't know what that vision is. Maybe that vision is going back to the way things used to be, where you were just friends and maybe you didn't have feelings for him, he didn't have feelings for you. It was uncomplicated as it may have seemed at the time. It was just the way that things used to be. And maybe, Sylvia, to you, that's your view of harmonizing the relationship. And so often when we talk about using Reiki for these kinds of reasons, including harmonizing relationships, we're approaching it from a vision that we have of how we want the relationship to look. And we are bringing in Reiki to align the relationship with that vision. And so our idea of harmonizing a relationship with Reiki is really all about how we want the relationship to look and work. And it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes our view of a relationship, the way in which we want it to work, and our view of harmony in the relationship is not for the best and highest good. And so when it comes to harmonizing a relationship with Reiki, Sylvia, I want to encourage you to release expectation of how you want it to look, and to release expectation of how you want it to be. And so we can send Reiki to relationships to help those relationships. And so often we're doing it with a vision of how we want the relationship to look. And so that means that we're sending Reiki with that vision in mind. And almost in a sense, we are asking Reiki, please, Reiki, heal this relationship. Please, Reiki, fix this relationship. Please, Reiki, make this guy be nice to me. Now, I also, Sylvia, and everyone want to say that if you do this, yes, you are in good company, because let's admit that we all do this, even though we know that Reiki goes to the best and highest good of all. We will still send Reiki with our intentions, with our desires, with our wishes. So let's just admit that. We are human, and as human beings, we have our wants and desires. Now, of course, Reiki encourages us to release judgment, to release and accept, and let's just all admit that it's easier said than done, and that's okay. But it's helpful and important for us to recognize when we are sending Reiki to harmonize relationships with a wish and a want and a desire attached to it. So, Sylvia, yes, when it comes to sending Reiki to relationships, if you are yourself attuned to Reiki, especially to distant Reiki at level 2 in the traditional Usui system, sending Reiki to relationships is definitely something that you can do yourself, and I would encourage you to. And the way that you can do that is to simply send Reiki in the way in which you were trained, or even in the way in which you were called. Now, there are some practitioners out there who are going to say, Christian, tell her specifically to use the healing and release symbol. And I'll just say it, everyone. People are thinking it. You're Christian, specifically tell her to use Seiheki. And Oh, I have to say, honestly, that sounds a little strange to say it out loud because I typically do not speak the names of the symbols. And so that's a little strange for me to say it out loud, everyone, to other ears. But people I know are out there thinking it. And so, yeah, sure, you can absolutely use that symbol and send specifically that symbol. And we also can just send the Reiki, symbol or not, for the best and highest good of all in this relationship. And so that's how I would encourage, Sylvia, the sending of Reiki to this relationship. Now, if you are not attuned to level 2, this is something that a level 2 practitioner absolutely can do, no problem. And as a matter of fact, Sylvia, I will send Reiki to this relationship momentarily. So know that I will be happy to do that, Sylvia. And so when we send Reiki to a relationship, we really want to strive to release judgment and expectation for how that turns out. Maybe healing the relationship means that you part ways. Maybe healing the relationship means that you just have a very casual friendship. Maybe harmonizing the relationship means that you're cool, you're good, and you just have an understanding that things are okay. And truly, Sylvia, maybe harmonizing the relationship means that you come to a point of acceptance, regardless of how your friend feels about it. Because when we talk about harmonizing relationships, really we need to be talking first and foremost about our feelings and experience of the relationship, because sometimes that means accepting that the relationship is at an end and that healing the relationship means moving on from it, accepting, forgiving yourself, forgiving the other person, bringing compassion to that relationship, and parting ways. Sylvia, that may very well be the choice that you choose at this time. I do want to encourage you, Sylvia, that you do have the choice for how you move forward from here, karma or no karma. So let's talk about that karma. Now, I have to say that I don't really view or talk about karma in the same way that many practitioners do. I'll give you an example, Sylvia. Some people may view a toxic relationship that they are challenged to leave as having something to do with karma. So often we will hear about people who are challenged to leave a toxic relationship and they're saying, oh, it's just karma. It's my karma that I keep going back here, or we're karmically entwined. We are karmically linked. You'll often also hear the phrase twin flame thrown around. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of that phrase. That's a whole other discussion. But we often hear, for instance, this idea of karma, and I'm challenged to leave a toxic relationship. Oh, it's because of karma. But so often I think that rather than any kind of karmic implication, really what it's all about is our emotional state and living in alignment, more than any kind of quote-unquote karmic punishment. And so, Sylvia, I want to encourage you, you may very well be looking at this relationship as some kind of karmic debt. Oh no, I've done wrong. Maybe previously in my life or in a past life, I've done wrong, and therefore that's why I'm having challenges in this relationship. Many people will take that kind of view. Personally, I really don't have that kind of view. Is karma a thing? Sure. And I don't take the same view of karma that many practitioners do, where I see it oftentimes what we call karma is really, to me, more about our emotional state, more about our mindset, and more about living in alignment with our own truth than it is about anything that we have done wrong, any punishment that we are incurring, or any kind of past life bad thing that we have done. So Sylvia, those are just some thoughts I want to throw out about karma because of your question about karmic cleansing. And so what I want to encourage when it comes with this idea of karmic cleansing is that, Sylvia, when we use the term karmic cleansing, it suggests that you've done something wrong to be in this situation. But that's not necessarily the case. This situation indeed can be happening for you for your own growth and development. Because why not, Sylvia? Maybe your friend has suddenly stopped communicating with you, is being negative, avoiding you, and creating conflicts in order for you to shed this relationship because it no longer serves you. Perhaps, Sylvia, you have outgrown this relationship. Perhaps this relationship is no longer the right fit for you or for your friend either. That's okay too. And perhaps, Sylvia, it is simply time for you to move on because it is in your best and highest good. Perhaps, Sylvia, this relationship has been holding you back in some way. Now, when we look at it that way, have you done something wrong to quote unquote deserve this? Absolutely not. If we look at it that way, done something right to deserve being released from the relationship. And so this is why I talk about karma in a different way from other practitioners. And oftentimes, really, I don't talk about karma much at all, because I think that we get a little wrapped up in karma when it isn't even really about karma. So your relationship with your friend Sylvia, when we say we need karmic cleansing, it suggests that you've done something wrong, that something is bad and needs to be cleaned. But for all those reasons I just stated, I don't think so at all. In fact, Sylvia, I think this is a good thing. I think it is a good thing that this relationship is turning out in this kind of way, because remember, your friend has done you a favor. Because I'm assuming, Sylvia, this is not the kind of friend that you would want to have. And so now is an opportunity for you to heal within yourself, forgive yourself, and to move on from this relationship. Now, of course, Sylvia, I am not here to tell you what to do, so I'm not saying, girl, you better kick this guy to the curb. That's for you to decide, Sylvia. And I really encourage you to consider the kinds of friendships you want, and Sylvia, the kind of friend you want to be in all of that, and to ask if this aligns with what you want. Does this relationship align with the kind of friendship you want? And so when I talk about that idea of alignment and living in alignment versus our ideas of, karmic punishment, this is a great example, Sylvia, of an opportunity for you to check to see if you are living in alignment and to determine if this relationship is living in alignment with the kinds of relationships that you indeed want. And as you live in greater alignment, Sylvia, with your own core values and your own vision for a harmonic relationship and your own vision for how you want to live, then you are drawing in relationships that serve you and releasing those that don't, simply by virtue of living in greater alignment. And to me, that is not karma. That is growth and healing. So, Sylvia, these are my encouragements for you. I have a couple of other things I want to encourage you at this time, Sylvia, for this relationship. I also want to encourage you, this may be a great opportunity for you to conduct some kind of ritual. Ritual is powerful for helping us to heal, to signal change to the brain and to our higher self, and to signal that we are ready for newness. Sylvia, ritual is almost like a switch in our brain to say, okay, time to move on, time for newness. I'm leaving the old behind. And so I think that this is an excellent opportunity for you to conduct some kind of ritual to release yourself from this situation and to help you move on. This also, Sylvia, is going to put the power in your hands, which is exactly where it is. Rather than looking to external help with this experience, Sylvia. So karmic cleansing and, helping to heal this relationship. Put the power in your hands, Sylvia, because truly that's where it is. And you can put the power in your hands through how you move forward from this point. And ritual is very powerful for signaling that the power is within us. And so any kind of ritual, Sylvia, that signals that you are ready to move on, ready for the next phase, ready to release this relationship and let it go, or let it be however it's going to be. Any kind of ritual that you can conduct is going to be helpful for you at this time. In my opinion, I'm a big proponent of the power of ritual. As a matter of fact, it is one of 7 transformative practices of my 7-way path. And so I do always highly recommend ritual when we are experiencing a life change or seeking to create change in our lives. So what kind of ritual, Sylvia? Anything that resonates with you. You know, you could do something as simple as lighting a candle and pouring all of your wishes and wants and desires and readiness to move on into that candle, and then blow it out when you are ready to say goodbye to your friend. You could write down on a piece of paper all of your anger and frustrations and sadness over this relationship, and then burn it. Or bury it, tear it up into pieces. Whatever it might be, Sylvia, there are an infinite number of things that you could do. So it could be something very simple that only takes a moment, or it could be a longer, more elaborate kind of ritual. One that has multiple steps, takes some time. Whatever it might be, maybe going to some special place and doing your ritual there. Wherever and however you feel called to conduct a ritual, Sylvia, can be very helpful for you at this time. So the ritual can be anything that feels right to do. I do want to just throw out one caveat here, Sylvia, and anyone, that when we conduct ritual, it indeed can be anything that feels right to do. And I want to encourage as long as it does not intend to cause harm to yourself or anyone else. And so I am not a proponent of conducting ritual that seeks to send negative energy, that seeks to cause harm, that seeks to get revenge. I am not a proponent of those kinds of rituals. But conducting some kind of ritual in which you set the intention to release yourself from this experience can be helpful, Sylvia, and to release yourself with love and compassion, not only for yourself, but also for your friend. Those are the most powerful and best kinds of rituals, the ones in which we release to the universe the outcome, we accept, we set our intention to move on, that we are ready for change, and that we do so with love and compassion, forgiveness, kindness, respect, gratitude for ourselves and for the other person in this experience. So please do, Sylvia, conduct that ritual, but please do so with kindness, love, compassion for all concerned. This is really the best kind of way to set yourself up for moving forward. And not only is it not nice to send out negativity and unkindness and revenge and anger, and not only does what we send out into the world come back to us, but also, Sylvia, not doing it with love and compassion also shows that you are still in some way attached to the experience. Now, doing a ritual, it's not going to be a once and done kind of thing. And so you do the ritual and, okay, wipe your hands clean, it's done, and you're completely over it and moved on. That's not the way that letting go works. But ritual is an important part of that process. So Sylvia, approach this ritual with love and compassion and kindness, because those are the emotions that are going to help you move on more powerfully from this experience than anger or revenge. So I encourage bringing those positive, loving emotions to your rituals. You may also, Sylvia, want to check out my letting go meditation. This may be helpful for you at this time as well. This is a free meditation. I call it the life change meditation because indeed it is here to assist us in during our life changes and in creating change. And the meditation itself is really all about letting go. I will drop the link to that below. It is part of my free Life Change Encouragement Kit. So you're welcome to get that. That is something, listening to that and doing that meditation, that is a ritual. And you can use that in a ritualistic kind of way to help you release and move on from this experience. So Sylvia, thank you so very much for the opportunity to offer you some encouragement. And Sylvia, as I said, I'm going to send Reiki to this relationship, of course, for the best and highest good of all. And to you, Sylvia, and your acceptance of yourself and your own forgiveness. So forgiveness for yourself first and foremost, Sylvia. Now, everyone, I will send Reiki to you as well, and harmonious relationships for you as well, especially if you are experiencing the kind of relationship experience that Sylvia is right now going through. And of course, as always, if you don't want to receive Reiki, don't worry, it will not go to you. So please join me in taking 3 deep cleansing breaths. Thank you, Sylvia. So, Sylvia, I had the image of an elephant. And so you've got an elephant with you at this time, supporting you, assisting you. And, you know, the elephant, one thing that also came up for me with the elephant was the question of, Sylvia, what is the elephant in this room right now with your experience? And so what are the things that maybe you are not thinking about because you're avoiding them? You don't want to be thinking about them, but it's like the elephant in the room. Like, you know, it's there. You're just nervous, not willing, hesitant to address it. And so maybe ask yourself, Sylvia, what is the elephant in the room for you with this relationship? You know, maybe it is, Sylvia, that it's just time to move on from it, time to let it go and to let your friend go. And maybe it is to accept and love and forgive yourself in all of this. Okay, so Sylvia, out has popped for you the card. And this is very interesting, Sylvia. It is Indigo and Crystal Children from the Archangel deck. Archangel Metatron says, you have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. Now, Sylvia, what am I getting from this card? I'm getting from you, Sylvia, that this may be a good time for you to tap into your relationship with children to help you really get some perspective on your relationship with your friend. You know, one of the things that is great with kids is that they really are rather adept at letting things go. You know, they're playing with toys. One friend has a toy. They want the toy. They're upset. They're crying. You introduce the child to something else, another game, and all of a sudden they've forgotten about that toy that they were crying over. And so children can really teach us some things about moving on and letting go. You know, they want the toy, they're crying about it, they're having a fit. Oh, another toy? Okay, I'll go play with that other toy. Now, Sylvia, I'm not saying go find some other toy and distract yourself. What I'm getting from this card is an encouragement to spend some time with kids and tap into their energy and their ability to really let go and their ability to say goodbye and their ability to say, okay, all done, move on to the next thing. And so that may be very helpful for you at this time, Sylvia. Go hang out with some kids. You know, kids are also really great for helping us to get into a new mindset and helping us to gain some perspective. And when we are struggling with relationship challenges and issues, kids can just be, or any kind of issue or challenge, kids can just be really helpful because of the playful nature that they have, the playful energy that they bring to everything. So hang out with some kids, Sylvia, to get some of that playful energy going, to maybe help give you some new perspectives on this relationship. Definitely conduct that ritual. Definitely, Sylvia, please bring self-forgiveness to this relationship as well. So, Sylvia, thank you so much. I appreciate the honor of sending you encouragement, and I send you blessings and best wishes for your journey. As well, everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in. I send you blessings and best wishes for your journey. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ask the Stones. If you have a question for Ask the Stones, please send me an email at christian@standingstoneshealing.com or connect with me on Facebook at Standing Stones Healing. Thank you, and best wishes for your journey.